It's time for What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. Here's your host, Phil MacDougall.
Hello, Reno. Wake up, get dressed. You're on What Drives Reno, and I am your host, Phil MacDougall. The show is presented by the National Automobile Museum, located on One Museum Drive in Reno, Nevada. Today, we're going to talk a lot about cars. Sometimes people ask me, what's the show about? I say, sometimes it's a lot about cars, obviously. I work at the National Automobile Museum. Sometimes it's more about cars. Sometimes it's more about people in the community that make a difference. I say today is about 50-50, so I'm excited about our guests. But before we get into the show, I want to ask our audience a couple of quick questions. I want to ask you, what is your song that you rock out to? Now, I guarantee you, every single person, when I say that, picture you're down there, you're frustrated on the road. Maybe you're not frustrated. Maybe you're just rocking out. So what is your song? What do you rock out to when you think no one's watching or listening? You tell me your song. You come down today to the museum or tomorrow, and you go to the admissions, and you say, my song I rock out to is A, B, and C. I'm giving you free admission to the National Automobile Museum. It's only good for Saturday and Sunday, but we want to know what you rock out to. You get extra brownie points if you just belt out a couple of the lyrics. What do you think? That'll get people motivated or scared? Hit Bertha's next door first, have a cocktail, then come over and rock out. All right, so we are at the National Automobile Museum, promoting the National Automobile Museum, and today we're going to talk to Sam Toll first. He is from Cruisin News. Sam, welcome to the show.
Phil, I'm so excited to be here. Just to get started, I would start every road trip off with the Allman Brothers, Jessica. Really enjoy getting a nice long roadie started with Dwayne and Greg.
So I got a question for you before we get into the interview.
Yeah.
Are you the type that just rocks out, and when you realize someone's watching, you stop, or you just got to go full throttle and just get the drums and the dashboard, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, I'm that guy. I just absolutely don't really give a hoot what anybody else, and hopefully they'll sing along and play along and dance along and beat along. Yeah.
Well, everybody does it. We're going to start. Typically, we start off with not what song you rock out to, but what was your first car? So everybody remembers their first car.
Oh yeah.
Sam, what was yours?
1973 Volkswagen Beetle is a red car. It's kind of what got me into cars because I couldn't afford to have anybody work on it, and that car needed daily attention. So I learned how to, do all of the things, adjust valve number 3, and then the engine blew about 6 months after I got it. So that was another, desperation is the mother of invention. Here's how you change the engine, and it's actually real easy on the bugs. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, 73 Volkswagen Super Beetle.
Any cool stories you want to share that's G-rated?
Well, I mean, in that car, I drove it to California the minute I graduated from high school with half a tank of gas and $20 and everything I owned in my back pocket, and landed in the Sacramento Valley. And within 3 years, I'd started my own business, met Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak when they rolled the Macintosh computer out, and haven't looked back.
You learn something new every day. Just kind of threw that in there. Did you catch that, Jasmine? I just, hanging out with Jobs and whoever else you just hang out with your circle.
Yeah.
Let's dig into a little bit. So I had the pleasure of meeting you a few years ago. Great guy. Great. You're very, very passionate about what you do. We're one of the partners with the museum here. I love Cruisin News. Tell us a little bit about you. I just learned something very,
Sure.
Did you hang out with the Pope and the King and Queen too, or none of those people yet?
No.
And our next show?
That's right. Yeah, and that and $5 will get me a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But no, I accidentally started in the computer business by getting a job at the computer store while going to college. Realized that I couldn't pass chemistry, but I could sell. And in my first year, I made a pile of money for a kid who was 22, and recognized that I had a future in that career. Interestingly, my career of putting ink on paper, so I was in the printing business for 30 years, was thanks to my dad. I'm a fifth-generation Nevada native. My family came to Gold Hill, Nevada in 1867. Great-great-granduncle, here we go again, I can't help it, but he was a senator of Nevada for 30 years. called the Silver Senator J.P. Jones. But my dad won numerous awards with the Nevada Press Association, publishing a bi-weekly newspaper in our front room. And I remember all these crazy hippies coming in, and it was artwork. Everything was hand-drawn, but there was just a ton of production work involved in it. And I realized when I saw the beta version of a program called PageMaker, where you could do most of what took hours and hours and hours to do by hand in seconds, I knew that would be a game changer in the way that the printed page is made, and that was the direction that my career accidentally took. So it was a lot of fun. I spent 30 years in the Sacramento Valley, and then came back home about 10 years ago to be with my parents in the bonus round. Sadly, they've both passed, but gladly I was with them during the last 10 years, and it was really, really special to me. I recommend anybody who has that chance to take advantage of it.
Well, I've only known you since Cruisin News. So talk to me a little bit about Cruisin News. For those who I can't believe don't know, tell us about what it is you do, how it came about, and anything exciting we want to share to our audience. And Terry's not here today, but usually, Jasmine, goes up to about 1.5 billion listeners when China comes on board.
Oh, wow.
So, we're not there yet. So, probably, Sam, about halfway through our interview, China comes on board, our listeners, and we got about 1.5 billion.
Absolutely.
Somewhere between 1 and 1.5 billion.
So, we're not nationwide. We're global.
We're global.
Gotta love
Absolutely.
it, man. Gotta love it.
Tell us about Cruisin News.
So, the Cruisin News, as fate would have it, was the spinoff of a radio show. In Sacramento, the founder who started the business in 1993 ran a radio show, and it was basically like an on-air swap meet. So Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, the lines would fill up, and you'd have Phil from Rancho Cordova with his 53 Ford F100 fenders. One is really good. One's got a little dent in it. $50. Joe from Marietta would be selling his Plymouth Coupe, and guys would call in and have stuff for sale. Typically, there would be an interview of a person in the industry or a person who is putting on an event, promoting an event, and for an hour, and as you know, Phil, when you do an hour-long radio show, it goes like that. You would see just a ton of interaction. It was just a blast. I was on that radio show for the last couple of years of its run, but the paper started out as an offshoot of the radio show. So what the Cruisin News is a monthly ink on paper, one of the last standing publications, shows up in your mailbox once a month, $40 a year for a subscription. But inside that paper, you're going to find articles on cars written by car guys, many of whom are in their 70s and even 80s, racing, new car reviews by the former automotive editor of the Sacramento Bee for 30 years. A guy named Pick and Pete who moved from California to Gardnerville and basically goes to swap meets, goes to people's garages. It's kind of like an American Picker, super localized. And then a tire guy. And then guys who review cars and guys who talk about their memories growing up as hot rodders. We have about 60 to 80 cars a month for sale. None of those cars are going to show up on the internet because they're all posted by people who don't have cell phones and hate the internet. I can't stand computers. I got no email.
I'm not giving you my social security number. What are you talking about? Are you crazy?
You out of your mind,
Not even
kid.
my zip code.
And so they're special cars. I do sadly talk to probably a half dozen widows a month on helping them take the cars that their husbands loved and turn them over to someone else who loves them. We've got a calendar of events in the back, which grows and grows and grows, and then a classified section, much like that on-air swap meet, where we get about 60 at least classifieds a month. Guys, clearing out their garage of parts they've been tripping over the last builds or the last couple of decades. And a wanted section where guys go to try and find that super hard piece of automotive awesomeness to put on their car. And guys go because they've got a barn full of 49 to 51 Mercs, and they're hoping someone's looking for a part that they've got in their garage. So it's a lot of fun. What I like to say about the Cruisin' News is that when you put an ad for your car in the Cruisin' News, you put it in front of 10,000 qualified customers, because that's roughly the number of subscribers we have who run to the mailbox every month and can't wait to open it up, as opposed to putting it on Facebook Marketplace, where you put your car in front of 10,000 qualified nitwits.
Yeah, and believe me, I can relate to that. They say, you got to come here and look at it. Right. You know how many times they don't show up?
Oh, yeah.
Or they do show up. I'm like, I don't want you to know where I live or where I work.
Right. Or they show up with half the money you want in a bag of weed, saying, oh, come on, I came all the way from Bakersfield. What do you mean you're not going to sell me the car? It's pretty hilarious, the stories that I hear from guys who've tried that and then put their ad in our paper.
Yeah, well, you got a qualified list. You got a qualified team there that puts it together, which is you.
That's right.
Which is your team.
That's correct.
But you're all over the place. You can already tell. Listeners already know you got a great personality. You're passionate about it. You're local. You've done this for many, many years. And all that, like, and you're only 20 years old. You just look amazing.
Well, thank you. Actually, it's funny. Satchel Paige asked, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were? And my answer is 12. I'm about 12. I'm getting to be 13, but being a teenager is kind of a drag.
That's a rough time.
Yeah, I want to be a 12-year-old forever. No, but I am all over the place. Last week I was at the Grand National Roadster Show. The weekend before that in Turlock at the big swap meet. I'm going to probably a half dozen shows from Portland, Medford, Reading, Sacramento Autorama, of course, at the end of April, which is Sacramento's big show. So I'm all over the place. I got a 1956 Metro delivery van, which is a hot rod and is a crowd pleaser. Everybody loves it. At the Roadster Show, there's $500,000 builds right across the aisle. And that people are taking pictures of that, but everyone took a picture of the Metro.
Oh, I bet.
It was bitching.
So, tell me a little bit more about the publication. How often does it come out? What are people are listening? How can they get more involved? Where do they go to learn about pricing?
Sure.
Website, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is your moment. This is all about Sam.
Well, I'm very grateful, Phil. I really appreciate that. So the Cruisin' News comes out once a month. It's $40 a year for a subscription. We do have discounts for 2 years and 3 years. It costs a little more, but you can get it sent out first class if you want. The website is cruisinnews.com, CRUISINNEWS, 2 N's. And the website really is just an online brochure. There's nothing, I don't post anything to it other than the ability to subscribe, post a car for sale, post a classified ad, post an event. That's free, and then the wanted ads. So it's a real simple thing. I'm in the process of revamping it. I suspect the new site will be out in April. In addition to that, we're going to blast out an email weekly to alert people to the shows that are coming up that weekend. It'll also give us a chance to showcase some of our advertisers and some of the bigger shows that are coming up. So it'll give folks an extra resource on how to plan for their weekend, how to know what shows are coming up and where they need to dust off their bad vehicle and do some donuts towards.
I want to throw one thing in. So in addition to those people listening, they're going to come into the museum and say, I'm going to rock off. My favorite song is this in my car. In addition to that, everyone who says that is going to get a free admission for that person who says that. And you get extra brownie points for actually doing a chorus. But also what I'm going to throw in is anyone who comes today, Saturday or Sunday, the first 4 people that say, I want a subscription to Cruisin', and news, I'm going to pay for it. So the first 4 people that come into the museum and say, I heard Sam on the radio, I want to know more about it, I will pay personally for 4 subscriptions. So come on down. It's a great publication. Take advantage of what I'm offering because I'm almost broke. And if after this, it'll be tuna fish for a week.
Let me tell you something. That's very generous, Phil. I'm very grateful for that.
Well,
Thank you.
It's fun. I want people to understand because I like to have the paper in my hand.
Yep.
I get nervous when something I'm working on or I'm reading is on the internet because you don't know what's true, who's behind it. You see all these scary things. I like the paper in my hand. I like to see it. And I know that people, your audience is they're loyal, they're passionate, they're car people. It's funny because one of the jokes I had real quick is that when I first got to the museum, they go, he's not a car guy, and I go, oh my God, this is a tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
So one of the milestones I had is we were on the Jay Leno show, and I said to him, I said, God, I'm getting all this heat. I haven't been in the car business for 50 years and all that, and I was starting up this thing called the Thomas Flyer, and I got it going. He goes, you're a car guy. I go, can you record that? Because there's like 50 million people I want to prove to. Whether it's true or not, I want you to say that really loud. But it's a really specific audience here, and they're passionate about it. So anyone who wants to get cars out there, widows, people are looking about what to do, give you a call, email you. What else would you like to share with those listening today?
Well, I want to echo what you just said. It's a work in progress. I'm still learning. I learn something new every day. The exciting thing is that I get to work with cars. What I like, the way I describe it is I get a million emails. I got a ton of phone calls. I do the design myself, and I'm pretty proud of it because I've been at it a while, and I polish it. I fine tune it. I fuss over it. And there's a ton to it. But as I like to say, it beats working.
It beats that. That's good. Well, it's work. It's a different kind of work.
Exactly. I love it.
So before we transition into our next segment and take a break, I want to remind our listeners that this show is made possible by the National Automobile Museum. I do this thing called meaningless information. And you know what? It wasn't meaningless when I first started it. I just got some feedback by Phil. That is meaningless information, but thank you for sharing it. So to cover myself, now I am actually leading into it with that title. So I'm going to share a couple of things. Did you know, kind of depressing, that the average American spends nearly 2 weeks of their life just sitting at red lights? I would have thought it'd be more.
I believe it.
I would have thought it more. It's such a frustrating thing.
Ridiculous.
And the other one is traffic congestion wastes about 3 billion, with a B, gallons of fuel each year.
So
that I believe
having just come back from Los Angeles, where it takes 2 hours to get 8 miles on your odometer, it drives me nuts. Even here in Reno, you get a little jam up. It takes 5 or 10 minutes to get through. Yeah, I'll take that over
any
LA
day,
all day.
And every time we talk, I'm going to make a mission of saying this, and I know people are going, Phil, get off of it. But one of the things that scares me the most, I'm asking everyone, please, yellow light means slow down. It doesn't mean speed up. I know the lights are long here, but there's just way too many accidents. Yellow, please slow down. Youngsters, oldsters, whatever, middle-aged, white-haired people, just please slow down when it comes to that. All right, 2 more. We kind of touched into this. 90% of drivers admit to singing in their car using not hairbrushes or something as microphones. Surprising?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, microphones, because that takes a hand off the wheel.
Just the air something, microphone.
Anything,
air
right?
Microphone.
I'm playing the drums.
So I thought of you when I heard this one. Volvo. Latin for what? Any idea what Volvo is Latin for?
No, I have. I should too. My grandpa would just be bummed.
No, you're gonna surprise you what it means for Latin.
So it's got to. I mean, is
Jasmine? What do you think?
Maybe moving or
something.
It's much cooler than that.
Way cooler.
Oh, okay.
It's much cooler than that. I just feel like it's something from a movie. It means I roll, or that's how I roll.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Cooler than I thought for Volvo.
Yep. I like that.
And you know that again, meaningless information that I'm putting under the header, meaningless information, but I thought it was kind of interesting.
This is actually just trivia facts.
Just trivia facts?
Yep.
Okay, but when I did it before, I had some listeners go, kind of meaningless information, Phil. But I go, okay, well, I'm going to put it under the header now. So Trivia, yes, sounds more formal, more professional. The gas gauges weren't even introduced until 1922. So that means for over 35 years,
Wow.
you never knew how close you were to running out of gas.
Wow.
Oh my
Well,
God.
you get like 2 miles to the gallon back then, too. So odds were...
Well, but
you
yeah,
knew.
getting
and
far
gas
much.
was like 8 cents a gallon, so it wasn't that big a thing.
And that was tough. Back in like 1908, it was literally average person made $600 a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So when cars were going for, sometimes $3,000 and more, that was more than you made in a whole year. So it was tough. We're going to take a quick break, unless you have some meaningless
Phil,
information or trivia.
before we break, it's
Yes,
not
sir.
useless at all. I want to tell you that you've got you're the steward of Bill Harris, what's left of Bill Harris collection and that legacy. And I watched you come into town, and it was pretty clear you weren't a car guy. But guess what?
Wait a minute. Is this going to be a backhanded compliment?
Not at all. Not at all. What you've done with the museum, where you've taken it since you've taken over, is something you should be really proud of. It's really cool to see where it came from and where it is today.
Thank you very much. We're having fun, and I'm saying this because it's true. Believe me. Have you ever worked for an organization that you can't do what you want to do unless your boss says to do it?
Right.
So I'm very blessed. Our board is very engaged. The trustees, they let me do this things we're doing. They're supporting it, and the team we have, although it's very, very small, they work really hard. Like 6 years ago, we probably had, I don't know, like 8 events a year. You know how many events we did this year?
You're killing it. I mean, I lost count.
257 events we did.
Holy smokes! In
Big
a year?
difference in a year.
Just
kind of
that
back
is a
that
big
in.
difference.
Small, big. That's big.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I mean, we're an automobile collection. People go, "Wow, you're getting away from the automobiles." Absolutely not. I look at it as if I have all these events and people are going, "Hey, I went to the museum once or two or three times a year." But I'm going to this event, might be a birthday, a ceremony of life, an award ceremony, a cocktail party, and they're getting a chance to get in there, enjoy the collection, the history, and the storytelling. That's what it's about. So that's why we're doing, to be a good community partner.
Yeah, and you get people who never knew it was there, didn't realize how cool it was, and walk out sharing it with their circle. So you're doing a great job. I'm a
thank
fan.
you. So, Jasmine, I got a question. I know we're not. This is a live show, but is there any way that I could cut out that preface by? It was pretty obvious we're the car guy. Can we get any of that? You just kind of do the nice stuff.
Yeah.
No,
shame on me.
I'll make my
I
magic.
appreciate that. And I was joking at the beginning, like you're a car guy.
Yeah.
I don't have 30 years of it,
Right.
But I am passionate about the automobile industry, the history, and I think that's the key for everybody who loves cars, or maybe you just you're not a huge car lover, but you love the technology. If you don't check off those 2 boxes, you just love history.
Right.
My gosh, 250 cars we have at the museum, from one of the very first cars to Elvis's Cadillac, and the
You got
stories
John
behind
Wayne's
that.
Corvette, right?
John Wayne's Corvette, 1953 Corvette.
Yep.
Supposedly the first Corvette ever to be on the West Coast.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of them. Frank Sinatra's Gia. We got a lot of cool things there. I want people to get into it. When we come back from the break, I'm going to go over some of the events we have at the museum really quickly before our next guest. Sam, anything else you want to wrap up with?
No, just listen, grateful for the opportunity. Cruisinnews.com. If you're into cars, you like to read, you had mentioned, that you look at your phone and you see an event and you swipe away and then you try and find it again, it's gone. Cruisin News has that printed. You pick
1,000 square foot Riverside Pavilion, complete with outdoor bar, heaters, and fire pits. Everything you need, including chairs, linens, staging, and AV equipment, are also available. Go to automuseum.org for details.
I'm having my birthday at the National Automobile Museum. They have this cool birthday zone with Mater and Lightning McQueen. And their brand new Children's Activity Center has fun games like Junior Engineering Studio, Lego Building, an interactive car wash, and a lot more too. They even have a theater where we can watch a movie or play Mario Kart. I even get my own birthday t-shirt.
Book your child's ultimate birthday party today at the National Automobile Museum. Visit automuseum.org/events.
We're back with more What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. And now here's your host, Phil MacDougall.
All right, welcome back, everybody. You're on What Drives Reno, and this show is made possible by the National Automobile Museum. I'm your host, Phil MacDougall, and today I'm excited because we've got great guests on. Our next guest is excited to have him on because it is in a new role. His name is Rob Brooks, and he is the Director of Entertainment at Visit Reno Tahoe. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Phil. How are you, man?
I am good. So we got a new thing we're going to start. We always ask people at the beginning of the show what their first car was, so I'm going to ask you that. Then I'm going to throw another one in there, but let's start off with what was your first car, and if you have a cool story you want to share about it.
A black 1961 Volkswagen Beetle. Got it from the guy down the street for $200. Started acting funny, and we went out. Which was a pond at the time, but is now I don't know what the store is, but that group of stores out there in Spanish Springs by Los Compadres, that used to be a pond. And we went out and we played car hockey. So we would knock a beer can across the ice if you could hit it with your car tire, and that became
with your car.
Yeah,
I missed that part.
With your car, yeah.
That's a new one, Jasper. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, and the transmission just was not behaving, and then it blew up on the ice. So we had to find a way to tow it off because we couldn't have two cars in the same exact spot, or we would have broke the ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a fun car.
That's a good one. That's a good story. You know, it's funny because I'll ask people, like I always say, they always remember their first car. They know the year. They know what they paid for it. But if I ask that same person, can you tell me what your children's birth date is, or what your wedding anniversary day was, or you know, date? I don't know.
Now
When's the last time?
All those things.
What'd you have for breakfast? No idea. But I remember back in 1964, I had a Volkswagen. It had $200 I paid for it, and you know, I was on the ice playing hockey with it. Yeah. They remember those stories. Well, Rob, thank you for coming on board. Tell us a little bit about you, your experience, and then we're going to get into your new role.
Well, I did radio, oddly enough, being in this radio station, kind of seeing a bunch of people that I've worked with over the years. I did radio here for many, many years, and going along with that, you tried to support the radio station by bringing in concerts. Depending on what your format was, my format was pretty young, so those acts weren't getting any play, or aside from our radio station, and they definitely weren't getting any tour action through the market. So I started bringing in shows, and that kind of evolved into what I do now, which is Director of Entertainment. I'm with Visit Reno Tahoe. My big room is the Reno Events Center, to try to fill that now with shows and put heads in beds, because that's really our main mission, is to bring tourism to Reno, and room tax is a big thing for us.
Yeah. Well, that's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
So tell people about it, because there's so many people that move into town that come here from all shapes and locations around the world. They might not be familiar with it. So they know some of the bigger casinos and some of their venues. Tell them about your venue, how big it is, or anything you want to share that people, just assume people know nothing.
The Reno Events Center is a corner of 4th and University.
Okay.
It's 7,000 capacity. We like to get it right around 6,000. It breathes a little bit. It's just the perfect amount of people for that room. And I believe it was, not quite sure when it was built, 98?
But it can seat a lot of people.
Yeah, and it can seat a lot of people. It's been there a while. It's right across from the bowling stadium.
Yep.
And, of course, we manage the bowling stadium as well. Mm-hmm. City of Reno owns the Reno Events Center and the bowling stadium. We are the management company.
Okay.
So we're tasked with bringing in, whether it's conventions or music events, or any other event. Actually, we have PBR coming up.
Yeah,
that's the pro bull riding. So we bring in 8 inches of dirt, and cover the entire
going
floor
on all the time.
Yeah, we will make it work. We will make it happen. So constantly looking for new acts and new entertainment to bring to the area.
Great. So is there anything you could share with us that you're excited about, or is it breaking news yet?
Well, I've only been there a couple months. We do have Primus on May 16th. We're really excited about this show because it is the first date of the tour. So they're actually going to come in. They're going to rehearse. I'm sorry, not the 16th, the 20th of May. The 16th, I have another show that's... It's
to
done.
be determined.
Yeah, it's done.
You can't break the news here.
Well, I can't.
It's just us. And how many listeners? 1.5 billion now.
Yeah, in China.
China's on, so 1.5. But they all promise no one's going to tell anybody.
I just
no, but it's exciting. You got some things lined up.
Yeah.
New, and you're new with the job, and and you're loving it. And
fall's going to be
great.
great
Team. You got a great team.
Oh, they're awesome.
They're all amazing people. Well, what do you want to tell people that are listening now that might not be familiar with it? Or I know personally, I don't know if you have time to get into it, I just love to know the process of how things are determined. And I don't know if you want to get into any detail, but
Sure.
A lot of people go, well, how did they come across with that actor? Who chose that one? Or I don't even know. There's so many different questions that come about.
Well, first, whether you live here in the Reno Tahoe area or if you're out of market, make sure you go to visit Reno. Tahoe.com and get signed up for our newsletter, because that's where all the information comes from, and you'll be in the know as soon as things happen immediately. And as far as the process,
that's probably harder to explain, right?
It is, because it is relationship based.
Yep.
As far as having a track record with certain agencies that you've worked with over the years, and the people that work at those agencies, there's a level of trust there after you've been working with them for many, many years. And I've been doing this for decades. And so it really starts with the relationships. It starts with it starts with relationships, but then it continues on to what knowledge do you have? You have to have a lot of musical knowledge. People get into this thinking that they can just go and purchase shows and people are just going to come and buy tickets. And having done radio here in the market for so long, I know the audience.
You got to know the audience.
Yeah.
You can sit there and say, oh, great, I get a good deal on A, B, and C.
Right.
But if you know your demographics isn't going to want that, boy, that's going to be an empty house.
And now this also couples with knowing your region, because my job is tourism. So I have to be in touch with that Central Valley, California audience, Northern California up in Redding, our feeder markets like Boise. You know what?
Boise?
Wow. We have a very strong relationship with Boise, and they come to the market quite a bit, and they come to Northern Nevada quite a bit. So I have to know those markets and what their listening habits are and what they will pay to go see. And then I have to make sure those bands stay out of those markets, so they just come here, so those people will come here. A lot of people go and they'll buy a bunch of shows and they'll say, oh, I didn't know they were playing Sacramento. Oh, I didn't know they were playing Chico. Or, you have to know where that routing is, and you have to be smart with your buys.
Yeah. Is there any misinformation you think that is out there? Or if there's someone just listening for the very first time and coming in the last 10 seconds or so, what would you think is the most important thing you would want that listener to know about the Visit Reno Tahoe, or just the Events Center in general? Do I call it the Events Center?
Reno Events Center, yeah. I would say visit RenoTahoe.com is just the place for information for the whole region. Yeah. So that'll cover all of the entertainment, not just what we're doing at the Reno Events Center, but what all of our partners are doing, whether it be the GSR or the J or the Peppermill or the Row. And it might not just be about music or entertainment, just what they have going on, what their special events are. Reno's very, very active with special events.
There's something going on all the time.
Yes, and we have to be mindful of that we're not putting something on top of one of our partners' events. Yeah. So
and you have how many years experience right now?
40
years of experience. I mean, you can't put a price tag on that.
No, I started with punk rock shows in the 80s.
Oh, you're really dating yourself now.
Yeah. The like the VFW halls and stuff like that. That's where I started.
You got any stories I don't know, just some good stories about people you've met in your career that you want to share? Or protected? I do.
I have stories.
He's going, but he said, no,
but they're not G-rated.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of stories. And they're not bad or anything like that. It's
just interesting.
Yeah, it's more of over a cup of coffee type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I will share a couple. So I will just tell you that a couple of people, I used to work for the Sacramento Kings, and we had an entertainer. One day, kind of like you described, they're pulling dirt in for a rodeo, or they got, I don't know who. Billy Joel was in there. The next day, you got the Globetrotters coming in.
Sure.
One of them was that always stick to me back in my mind. It was amazing. I had some, and I won't say their names, that came through, and they had writers in there. It says, you've heard stories about toilet paper and the color M&Ms and stuff. You lived it. And people don't understand what goes behind all that. They come and have a good concert. They have no idea what people like you do in the planning processes to make all these things come together. But I had one that walked by the arena, and literally, I will not say his name, I just say it's a he, and it was in the rider. No one in the organization. Now we had like 250 people there with people at basketball, NBA concerts. We are not allowed to make eye contact we pass. That's common?
Very common. Very, very common.
Wow.
Believe it or not, many artists are incredibly shy. And they have whatever there's a psychological term for it, I'm sure, but they almost get paralyzed, and they are very shy. So it's not necessarily like I'm better than you, and which people take that immediately when they see that.
That's the first reaction.
So when you present that to your crew, it's like, hey, just don't do it, and don't think it's funny to do it because it makes the artist uncomfortable. It's not that they're better than you; they're just very, very shy. I will give you one rider story, though.
Okay.
And I won't say the band, but I will say that it was up at the small gym at UNR in 1993 in October.
So someone's listening is Googling this.
Yes.
Who was performing 1993?
Yeah, and I was on a station that I don't think it exists anymore, KRZQ, and I was the program director, and I brought in about 3 or 4 acts. And the headliner got done with sound check, everything was done, and I'm like, okay, we're almost there, we're almost there. I'm about ready to hand them the check, and they're going to go on stage, and the road manager says, we're not going on. And I said, why aren't you going on? He goes, I would do it in an English accent, but I don't do that very well.
Okay, wait, we're narrowing it down. 1993, UNR, English accent.
Yeah.
All right.
And he said, we're not going on. We're not bloody going on. And I said, why not? And he says, well, you didn't read the rider. I said, of course I did. Everything's fine. Look at your hospitality, everything that you wanted here. He goes, no. He goes, you missed something. And I said, what was that? And he said, the 4 beanbag ashtrays that were underlined in bold and red.
Beanbag ashtrays.
Just like the one that your granddad had that was plaid beanbag.
I know exactly what
with
you
the
mean, 'cause
aluminum
my
top.
granddad had something like that.
And it didn't slip, right? You could put them on the dashboard of a car. And this is a Saturday at, 5 o'clock or something like that. And I was like, what are you saying?
Where are you going to find that?
Now, I think they would have honored it. But I'm the kind of person that takes that on as a challenge. And through about 3 phone calls, I was able to find the manager of the local tinderbox. And I had him open it up, and I paid him twice as much as they were marked for the 4 beanbag ashtrays, and I had them there before downbeat. And the guy smiled and lit up a cigarette.
But see, that makes me smile.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't go on, then I'd say have different opinion of this person. But the fact that here you are with all those elements, lights, sound check, audience, ticket sales, and the one thing where you're going to look at is, Jace, did we check off the beanbag ashtray?
Right.
No, did not do that. That blows my mind.
I went up to him with my shoulders back. I thought I was the biggest guy in the world, man. I threw those beanbag ashtrays on the console and said, here you go, brother. We're on. And like I said, I don't think they would have not gone on. However, fulfilling my obligation and admitting that I wasn't as thorough as I should have been, that's a lesson for everyone.
Every line item, especially if it's bold.
Yep.
And you never know what's important to them. I'm going to share one quick one. So one of my highlights was we had Garth Brooks performing there, and that was in the 90s, I guess. And everyone's going, what's going on? Because we've had that previous person, no make eye contact. Another one who is had a flub up at one of the New Year's Eve parties, without saying names, when the soundtrack did not match her voice, was extremely challenging.
Yep.
And so without saying any names, but we're all going, okay, what's going on? We're on a roll here. We didn't want to do anything that was going to piss this person off. And everyone's asking, what's going on? And I said, where is he? You know what he was doing? He had a belt on, and he was helping them put the stage together in the arena.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of such a thing? And he was at the heyday at that time. I
can tell you that Chris Christopherson, I did a show with him one time. It was he and Merle Haggard. And he came in with dehydrated pineapple and coffee for all of the production crew.
Wow.
And he handed it to all of them because he wanted to say, hey, listen, I appreciate you making me sound good tonight. And he handed them all this dehydrated. It was mostly pineapple, but there's a lot of dehydrated island fruit from his place in Kona. And I thought that was fantastic. Emmylou Harris, she made coffee for everybody and made everybody, when she was ready for a break, she made everybody take a break. And then she came out and she poured everyone's coffee for them. They're not as inaccessible and abnormal as everyone thinks they are. Artists are people too.
Yes, and again, people take it to different extremes, but it's nice to know. My point would be to people who are listening, you go there and you enjoy it. It's like we put on an event at the National Automobile Museum. People forget, we're a full event center. Not to your caliber, but we can. Yeah, sure. We have things for members and parties and ceremonies of life or celebrations of life. We do a lot of cool things, but if something goes wrong, they don't typically go back and complain or tell people and tweet and post things that the food doesn't go good. But if you have a sound problem or a lighting problem or audio visual, boy, everything is bad. Yeah. And typically, I'm assuming you're the same boat, is that you notice little things that you would like to improve, but the general audience doesn't. Oh, yeah. But I've never relieved until that.
I don't think there's ever been
pull out in the bus.
I don't think there's ever been a show that I went, wow, we just really nailed everything tonight. There's always something. I'm on a conference call with a coalition, a national coalition of people that do what I do, and we have a conference call every 2 weeks. And there was a person on there, and she was saying, "Well, we had some rigging problems in the AM," and I'm thinking, we always have rigging problems in the AM. Why are we talking about this?
It's not a big
deal. There's always something. And if you're with a good crew that is seasoned, they've seen it all, right? And they know how to mitigate those things when they happen. And my job is pretty much just to keep smiling and just let everybody know that the doors are going to open on time and everything's going to be fine. And again, visit renotahoe.com. I need to throw that in there as many times as I can.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with Rob. We're going to make sure everybody remembers the two things we talked about earlier. If you come down to the museum today or tomorrow and you say, my song that I rock out in my car by myself is this, you're going to get free admission for if you say that to you. And if you belt out a couple, maybe the chorus, we'll give you a little extra bonus. If you also mention, I want a subscription to Cruisin News, I will personally take the first 4 people and give them the $40 subscription. All they got to do is say, I want a subscription to the news, and we'll take care of it. We'll be right back after a little break, everybody.
We'll be back with more What Drives Reno on 1060 AM KFOY, Radio for America.
I'm having my birthday at the National Automobile Museum. They have this cool birthday zone with Mater and Lightning McQueen. And their brand new Children's Activity Center has fun games like Junior Engineering Studio, Lego Building, an interactive car wash, and a lot more too. They even have a theater where we can watch a movie or play Mario Kart. I even get my own birthday t-shirt.
Book your child's ultimate birthday party today at the National Automobile Museum. Visit automuseum.org/events.
Looking for a venue for your next event? The National Automobile Museum can host any event in a variety of venues to choose from. Have an awards ceremony in the 157-seat theater or select one of several themed galleries for a business luncheon or banquet. Guests will love the 16,000 square foot Riverside Pavilion, complete with outdoor bar, heaters, and fire pits. Everything you need, including chairs, linens, staging, and AV equipment, are also available. Go to automuseum.org for details.
We're back with more What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. And now here's your host, Phil MacDougall.
All right, everybody, we're back with Rob Brooks. He is the Director of Entertainment at Visit Reno Tahoe. Rob, just a couple of quick things. What would you like our audience to know or remind them before we wrap up our interview today?
Well, I've been shamelessly plugging visitrenotahoe.com throughout the entire show.
You did a good job.
But really, it is a great source of information, especially if you're new to the area or if you have folks that are coming to the area and you want them to do their own research when they, of what they would like to do when they get here. So we are very much up to date with what's happening every minute of the day. We're constantly working on that website to make sure that we have all the newest information when it comes to entertainment and things to do in the area.
Yeah, I go right away. When I get that e-news that goes out there, see what's happening, I click on that all the time. That's one-stop shopping for me as a community member and a partner.
Yeah, you can link to our hotel partners and get great deals through the website, whether it be on dining or just your overall stay. There's always some kind of promotion going on with all of our casino partners and property partners. So please check it out. Visit renotahoe.com. Now, you had one more question for me?
Yes, one more question. So my question to you is, when you're driving down whatever road, 80, Pyramid Road, when you're just rocking out, you're in the zone and no one's watching or you don't care if they're watching, what's your go-to song that you like to sing?
I Might Be Wrong, Radiohead.
All right. Can you give us a couple of verses?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say, I better just belt one out. Now, everyone has a go-to song. Last part is people are looking at you. Do you just stop, clam up, and pretend, or you just keep going with it?
Oh, no. I've been doing this too long.
You just keep going, right?
If I still had my hair, it'd be all flying in the air.
Get the little drum roll with on the steering wheel.
Shame. Yeah, I have no shame.
Any last words, Rob, before we take a break?
Thank you. And
website one more time.
It is visitRenoTahoe.com, and then I'm going to come see you and see what your new exhibit is.
Great. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for coming on the show.
Okay. Take care, Phil.
All right. That was great. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. The last couple of minutes, it's not called meaningless information.
No.
I'm going to ask the people who are listening here today to just bear with me. But here's the challenge. I've done some trivia. Some refer to as meaningless information. Mm-hmm. I also have some jokes. Now, I am going to take it and take all the criticism with a grain of salt. But I want people who are listening to go to our website at the National Automobile Museum and just tell me if you got one that's better, you let me know. So mine are... I'm having a hard time even saying these, but why? Let me ask you, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Why don't cars ever get tired?
Why?
Funny you should ask, because they always get, I can't even say the line.
Oh.
Let me try that again. Why don't cars ever get tired, Jasmine?
Why?
Because they always rev up their engines. Does that even make sense? I don't even know.
I don't think
so. Why did the car break up with the gas station?
I feel like I just gave like a pity laugh. Like,
yeah,
I'm not sure.
I got a pity laugh. So that's our new tagline. When you go in, you want to post something to our Facebook page. This is our new section is called Pity Laugh. So if you want to give What Drives Reno a pity laugh, I am okay with that. A laugh is a laugh. Why did the car break up at the gas station?
Oh, why?
Oh, your responses are cracking me up. Because it found someone else to fuel its heart.
That's...
Pity laugh? What kind of car does Yoda drive?
What car?
You're just riveted by these answers or these questions. He had a Toyota. I'm going to just cut my losses at that time. So, pity laugh. Here's our challenge to our listeners. If you have a little bit of sympathy for me, but you got a better joke, go to our Facebook page. Tell me what it is. If we use it next week, I will give you a pair of tickets to the National Automobile Museum to use. Fair enough? That's where the pity laugh goes. So take the time, and you know what? Be nice. It's a pity laugh. I know they're terrible, but I'm trying to get our audience just to try and engage. Okay, so I want to share a couple of things in our last couple of minutes because we had some great guests here today that went a little longer, which I love, but I want to talk to you about the National Automobile Museum. So we have a new series coming this summer. It's our summer concert series on the river.
Sounds fun.
Sounds fun. I love that.
I love it.
So for those of you who have not been to the museum in the past or not for a long time, shame on you, but we started a summer concert series last year. We had 3 amazing acts. We put a 16,000 square foot facility patio located right outside our door and right 10 feet away from the Truckee River. So you should see Jasmine. Her facial expressions is like, ooh, wow, love it.
I'm thinking prime location.
Prime location. So what we have is we have dates that I want to announce. Now, if you love any of this kind of music, and I hope you do, otherwise it'd be me and my closest 4 friends, my Fab 5. No, we sold out every one of these last year, and I'm sure we're going to do the same thing. And for the right bulk price of only $20.
Wow.
You can't do that. So that was a real wow. That wasn't a sympathy wow.
No, I'm thinking you get dinners way more than that.
You can't even get a Happy Meal for that.
No, exactly.
Nowadays. So it's a good deal. So what we have here is, first of all, we have a Mardi Gras with the Blues Festival. That's going to be inside on February 21st. It is always sold out. They do an amazing job. You love blues music, you got to come on down. We have Governor Joe Lombardo. He's going to be on March 3rd. But the actual concert series, we're going to start off on June 20th, Life in the Fast Lane, tribute to the Eagles. Everybody knows their songs. And we're on the patio. You bring your lawn chair. We have food trucks there. Great time. Starts at 7 o'clock. Doesn't end until 8:30. So you can get home, get in bed, turn on the news, whatever you want after that. The next one is a favorite we brought back to the third year now, is July 11th. And that's the Jimmy Buffett tribute with Garrett Wilkin and the Parrot Heads. If you're a Parrot Head, you don't want to miss this. The show is amazing. Everyone loves it. And the best part is every year now, they're getting a little bit more decorative.
Ooh,
the hats are on, always some very colorful shirts. You bring your lawn chair there. We have a great time. Taking you back to some amazing entertainment. August 29th, we have Mania, and that is the Beatles tribute. The first part of it, the first 90 minutes or so, or 60 minutes, is the Beatles in their black suits, and they're fully in character the whole time. They don't break character. After intermission, they're back in their Sgt. Pepper clothing, and they're totally decked out in bright colors. It's a crowd favorite. Everyone is dancing. And we added a new one this year on September 19th. It's Bad Moon Rising. It's a tribute to CCNR. And I got a lot of people excited about that. So you can't go wrong. And if you buy the next 2 minutes, in addition to the ShamWow towel we're going to offer you, you get a $10 discount. So if you decide I want to go online, I want a ticket to all 4 of them, you buy at the same time. Instead of being the $80, it's $70 for a whole summer concert. So you can't go wrong on that. Last thing I want to share, so don't go away. I got just 2 more things to share with you here before you guys turn the dial. No, never turn the dial.
Never.
Stay. Thank you.
Yes.
Never. That was
stay
the most.
right here.
That was the most convincing I've heard you say. Never turn the dial. Never, never, never. What's new? We have the Car from Greece. So everyone watching right now, listening,
wow,
you guys know that movie, right? So we got
Absolutely.
some really cool, but we're bringing the Grease car. It's going to be here next week. We have the Paul Newman race cars. Unfortunately, they're leaving. They've been here for a year. They're leaving this week coming up, so you want to come down Sunday or Monday if you want to check out Paul Newman's race cars. We're working on a brand new Route 66 exhibit with Pixar.
Wow.
So I hung up the phone with Pixar last week. We're working with them to have something to celebrate with Pixar, the Cars franchise. It's just a lot of cool things. And if you literally have not been to the museum, we encourage you to come down. We have a 3,000 square foot children's activity center. We have birthday parties with Tow Mater, Lightning McQueen Theater. We have anniversary parties, events. If you're looking for something new, plus the cars, plus the history, you got to check us out. So with all that said, go to automuseum.org, automuseum.org, not .com. Once again, I want to thank our guest today, Sam Toll from Cruisin News, and Rob Brooks, who is the new Director of Entertainment at Visit Reno Tahoe. Don't forget, come visit us at the National Automobile Museum. See you next week.
You've been listening to What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. For more information about the museum, head on over to our website, automuseum.org. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. with What Drives Reno on 1060 a.m. KFOY, Radio for America.